Hello students, now I am discussing the expert system. Now what is an expert system? Expert system means whenever an human expert is missing and a machine is guiding you as an expert, that is an example of an expert system. For example, suppose you are in the computer lab and trying to print out some documents and you have no idea how to print a document. So you will take help of an expert system. So what is the expert system? You will go to Google and type how to print a document in MS Word. Google will give you some steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. You will follow those steps and you will take a printout of the paper. The concept is whenever a human expert is missing and a machine is guiding you as an expert, then it is known as expert system. So an expert system is a computer-based solution designed to simulate the thinking ability and decision-making skills of a human expert in a specific area. Suppose when you meet a doctor asks you some questions and based on your conversation, doctor prescribes some medicines. Now imagine you remove the doctor and in place of doctor you imagine a machine, a robot. The robot asks you some questions or a chatbot that asks you some questions, and whatever answer you provide, based on that answer, the machine and the robot or the chatbot suggest you your disease and prescribe some medicines. That means you replace a doctor and the machine works as an expert system. Correct? So what are the components of expert system? The first component is knowledge base. So when you talk to a doctor has a huge knowledge base of medicines and diseases. So whenever you talk to a doctor and tell your problem, the doctor analyze the problem from the knowledge base and try to eliminate the unwanted symptoms or the unwanted conditions and try to focus on what may be the cause of this disease, and ultimately eliminating all the problems, the doctor conclude to a particular situation and start prescribing the medicines. So what doctor has a knowledge base. Similarly, an expert system also has a knowledge base. Whenever you type something or ask something, it searches the information from the knowledge base and give you the perfect solution. Now next is inference engine. Now inference engine means which one to accept and which one to reject. Suppose somebody says I have a high temperature. Now there are multiple options. It can be dengue, it can be a viral fever, it can be corona, it can be some chikungunya medicine, So in all these cases there will be high fever or maybe some viral infection. There may be the cause of high fever. But doctors start eliminating all these points and try to focus on a particular area that this may be a case of malaria. So why doctor is rejecting chikungunya, dengue, corona and focusing on malaria? That is the purpose of inference engine. So it is the brain. It applies the logic to reject something or accept something. Last one is user interface. Like when you draw money from ATM machine. ATM machine is a dead one, correct? Without the touch screen or the screen that gives you the direction to draw the money, you cannot draw anything from the dead machine. So user interface means when you interact with the computer, user interface is basically staying between you and machine. It's a screen. It is an area that guides you step by step to solve the problem. Okay, another example of user interface I am giving. Suppose you want to book a taxi. So user interface is the Uber software interface. You type something there through which you try to connect to the nearest car with the GPS location and you negotiate with the price, and after some time you find that the car is in front of your house. That is the user interface. User interface is the Uber app screen. So what do expert system do? In diagnosis, something I told you the example with the doctor. Interpretation, like what will be the temperature tomorrow? What will be the temperature of Darjeeling now? What will be the possibility of rain within 3 days? Now, expert system try to interpret this problem. Negotiation, prediction, regulation, design, instructions, monitoring. It monitors the real-time data. Imagine some car driver violates the traffic rule. So there are two ways the person can be punished. Either a human will interfere or an expert system will interfere to check whether somebody is following the red signal or the green signal or not. So monitoring is also a part of expert system. Next is planning. So these are the points. You can pause the screen and can watch: diagnosis, interpretation, negotiation, prediction, regulation, design, instructions, reconfiguration, all these things. Correct? So what is the structure of an expert system? Expert system operates in two primary settings. One is development environment. This is where the system is built. Knowledge engineers. Knowledge engineers means who deal with data. The engineers who deal with the data. The domain experts. Suppose you want to develop a library software. Unless until you study library system, you cannot design the software. The best part is you will talk to the librarian and then you can design the software. Suppose you are very good in programming but you do not know the banking operations, how the interest are calculated, what is the concept of debit and credit, you cannot develop a software. But when you talk to a banker gives you some idea. Based on this, you create the software. So in this case, the domain expert is the banker, bank domain expert. Librarian is an example of a library domain experts. So they work in the development environment. Next one is consultation environment. This is where regular user interact with the system. Non-expert ask questions or provide data. Like Google, you can think Google is an expert system and you are a non-expert. So when you see the doctor's prescription, you just type this medicines in the Google and try to find out what are the side effects, what are the composition of this medicine. So you are a non-expert. So expert is Google. There are some Google engineers, they are knowledge engineers, and you are working as a non-expert. Just type this question and you use this expert system to take the benefit of the expert system. Next one is business expert system. A business expert system is specialized type of expert system that focused on helping in decision making within commercial setting. These systems mimic the judgment and the insight of business professionals. Like I can say, somebody is working in the share market for 20 years. The amount of experience that person has, being a fresher, you cannot compete with that experience of that person. But if you use an expert system that works in the share market, you can compete with that person. So, like there is a doctor. Doctor has a huge knowledge about these medicines and diseases. Now, there is a software that is known as Mycin, M-Y-S-I-N, Mycin. That Mycin is an expert system that has all the knowledge of a doctor. Like in US, there is a lawyer, digital lawyer, that is an expert system like Watson. All the case history of different cases in US is fed into that expert system, and you can ask any question to that expert system, like in the Watson, IBM Watson, and you can get data from that expert system. It will work like a human lawyer and can guide you. So a business expert system is you are hiring a machine, that is IBM Watson. Like you are talking to an expert system like Mycin and you are getting medicines from that system. So that is the example of business expert system. These systems rely on a combination of rules and relationship, domain specific knowledge and inference engines to draw conclusion. They act like a seasoned consultant. Just now I told you, like IBM Watson has a good repository of all the case histories of different cases, and if you ask any question, it will analyze this case history and will give you a solution. Now some definitions from the expert. What is an expert system? Like these two people have given an example of an expert system. Expert systems are interactive tools that simulate expert thinking, rules of thumb, intuition and all to provide expert level suggestion. Another one more person, they are smart computer programs capable of solving complex problems using expert knowledge and logical processes, just like top professionals. Just now I gave you example of IBM Watson in case of law. Now characteristics of expert system. The first one is training capability. They can teach and assist users, making them excellent tools for learning. Organizational memory. Even if employees leave, the system retains their expertise. Ideal for government and military sectors. Next is high level of thinking. A human expert can solve a very complex problem. Now when you are using an expert system, it can solve the same problem but in a very quick way. So it can do a high level of thinking. Next is predictive insights. So predictive insight is after analyzing the problem, you can predict what will happen after 1 month or 6 months or after 1 year. So that is the concept of predictive insight. Like you can predict that Indian economy is growing very fast. Within 4 or 5 years, we will be the third largest economy. So that is the concept of predictive insights. How to build an expert system? The first one is identification of the problem. Why should I build the expert system? Like I need to build an expert system to deal with the patients. Why? Because doctors, there is a scarcity of doctors. Out of 1,000 people in India, there should be 2 doctors. But in reality, out of 10,000 people, there is only 1 doctor. So there is huge scarcity of doctors. So if I can conceptualize the knowledge of a doctor and can create some apps so that people can take a consultation of these apps to find their diseases. That is the concept of identification. Conceptualization means now you start conceptualizing the problem and you need to talk to doctor to extract all the knowledge of a doctor and to put this into a software algorithm to identify the problem. Next is formalization. So you need to write the code like if, then, else, flowchart, network. If temperature is high and more than 100 degrees centigrade, then take a medicine. Otherwise, do not take a medicine. That is the concept of if and then. If temperature is more than 100 degree, then take medicine. Otherwise, not. Next is example is SRL, rule-based systems. Next is implementation. You try to write this code in a real application, and testing means now you try to test with the data so that whether this application is behaving like a doctor or not. So what will happen here? We try to give some test data to the software to check whether it is giving you the correct solution for the problem. And here comes some final thoughts. So expert systems are very powerful blend of AI and human knowledge, whether helping a doctor diagnose an illness, guiding a business manager, or supporting a farmer in crop selection. They bridge the gap between the expert level knowledge and everyday users. So this is the part of expert system. You can pause it and can understand. Thank you.